Welcome to Impact Suite version 5 for ACT 2010 or better. Once Impact Suite is installed, you're going to notice an improved navigation bar on your left-hand side. But let us direct you to some of our top-level settings inside of the product. If you go to your Tools menu and you go to Impact Suite, you're going to get this About screen. And on the left-hand side is a series of tabs that get into some of our settings. So let's discuss those. If we go to modules, this is a list of all the modules. Impact Suite is a series of 10 independent modules, can be purchased separately, but wrapped up into one suite. So each module can be turned on and off independently each other. So at the moment we can see we have what sections of ACT that are enhanced. So if we don't want to start out with the opportunity list enhancements, we can just turn those off at the moment. Then you can grow into the product, understand it a little bit more, and you of course can come back and enhance that section of ACT. Other enhancements that we do to ACT, of course, is adding custom tables. ACT has contacts, companies, groups, and opportunities, the top level entities as ACT calls them. But we can add in automobiles, equipment, service calls, time billed, any type of data that you want to store, we can create a custom table for. Now these custom tables of course can be enhanced, turned on and off per user. You may have a sales department that doesn't want to see the tech support notes, so they can turn off the service calls area, and hence the service calls area, the tech supports, may not want to see the quoting system or the specialized quotes or service plans that the salespeople are entering, and you can hide this from different departments. And they're custom tables. So let's go to the activities section. Impact has the ability to enhance the edit activity window. Edit activity window is brilliant inside of ACT. You can throw anything you want at the calendar, but one of its limitations is you can't add a custom field to it. With Impact Suite, we can add custom fields. So this is our editor, and we are actually modifying the meeting edit activity form. And as you can see, we have, of course, the activity type, scheduled with, start date, end dates, everything you expect for an activity. But we also have over here quantity, cost, and total, mileage, billable hours. These are fields that we have added to the edit activity windows. Let's close this down. Let's go to our next section. On the activities, of course, you can pick and choose which activities you want to enhance. So if you're doing service calls, you can create a custom activity called service calls and then edit that extended activity. Okay, let's go to templates. Templates is an area that stores or allows you to install predefined templates. So these templates are custom tables that you add to it. Like we saw automobile table a minute ago. Well, this is where we installed it. So we just highlighted automobile and we said install selected template. Before you install the selected template, if you want to review it, you just click on this enlarge preview button, and this shows you what the stock template will look like. Again, it'll add your custom tables, it'll add Word documents, it'll add math functions, it'll add this custom data entry layout. It does all that work for you. Okay, that's templates. Let's go to our math section. We support math functions in ACT 2010 or better. We also support math functions in all the ACT entities, companies, groups, contacts, and opportunities, and the products and services tab of the opportunity. So when you're doing a quote, you might want to calculate commissions or calculate other events regarding a specific SKU. You can do that with our Impact tool. Creating a math formula is very simple. We have different webinars for that, but here it's literally create a math formula, go to the activity window, and let's say our activities, and we had the quantity times the cost, and that resulting field goes into the total field. Okay, from templates we can go to the math function. So let's click on math functions. The math functions are available in Act 2010 or better with our Impact Suite. We provide math functions on all the top level entities, being contacts, companies, groups, and opportunities. We also provide math functions on activities and products and services. So your line items, you can calculate custom commission rates. On your activities, you can calculate a mileage charge and things like that. We also support math functions on any custom table. So our equipment table, our automobile table, we can do math formulas on there. Navigation bar is our next tab. Navigation bar, let me just move this window over a little bit. Remember, we started out by saying we have this enhanced navigation bar. Some people may want the native ACT navigation bar. By default, we turn on our enhanced one. So to turn that off, you would just put a check mark in there. We're not enhancing the navigation bar. You'd say OK, and you'd go back to the native ACT one. We have radius mapping in here, so you can install your geocodes for radius mapping lookups, depending on your country. Right now, we have 24 countries radius mapping files available. Let's go to our last one, Other. The Other section is just that. It's a miscellaneous and other kind of section. We have things like hide the Big Easy toolbar. Here's a miscellaneous option. The Big Easy toolbar, as we call it, is this toolbar up here at the top that came along with Act 2010 or better. Great for navigation, great targeting. We like it. We like the big navigation buttons. We don't specifically turn it off, but we've had requests where people think it takes up too much real estate. There's not enough data entry room on the screen. So you can actually come along and hide it. Again, one of our miscellaneous options. Another one of our miscellaneous options is to rename the ACT views. If you noticed here is contact company. Initially, this said groups and opportunities. And what we did is we actually changed this. We had one client request, well, their opportunity pipeline is the beginning of their loan process, so they don't call them opportunities, they call them loans. The other customer that I can recall, they have the group facilitator inside of ACT they use for their top level events. So they do it for their shareholder meetings and things like that. So we came along and had them create the events name on here. So once you're done with these miscellaneous settings or any other settings here, you just click on OK, and we're going to redraw the ACT interface, the navigation bar on the left with the events and loans here. Let's just talk about our navigation bar. Top level navigation, of course, is if we go, to contacts or companies, we can type in anybody's name here and click on the go button, just like ACT does. One of the nice features that we have is Control F will highlight that for us. So I can now type in Huffman and so one of the nice things about our enhanced navigation bar is Control F will get you typing in the name here. So I can just type in and hit go. I'm already on Chris Huffman's record, so this will just take us to where we are. But at any time you hit Control F to find, you can find a contact name. If we look at this second section just below it, this is the primary navigation, where ACT lists them on a long navigation bar. We encompass those on a 3x3 panel. So if I wanted to go to my calendar view, it's a very easy target. And if we want to go back to the contact detail view, again, it's a very simple mouse targeting mechanism. Below this area, we have custom tables or custom views, really. ACT has a history table inside of it, but you only see that history table on the history view of every contact record. Say you wanted to look at the histories of everybody that did any data entry work this week. So that's what our history view is about. Here we go to history view, and actually this is today in the last 30 days. We don't have anything in the ACT demo database, so let's just go to all dates and say yes to that. And there we have 1,000 records that we found entered in, and these are filterable, sortable, organizable, inside of this list view. Again, over here in our navigation, we have our custom tables. So if we wanted to go to our automobile view, here's automobiles. I have 2 automobiles here. If I wanted to do a little work on the Challenger, I would just double click on that. And here's our data entry screen for the automobile table. Again, completely customizable. Any type of fields, tabs support, panel supports, any data entry patterns that you have, we can replicate those in here. But we also do child tables. So on this Dodge Challenger, we have 3 billable timed events that happen to this record. So we have these JPD, George, and John created 3 hourly events totaling $1,490. Again, custom data entry screens. So we'll just say OK to that. The last section below this is the navigation or looking up. We have different ways to look up records, previous, favorites, and radius mapping. Previous is just that. What previous records have we looked up in ACT? Just like ACT has a back button, you can walk backwards. Well, that's nice if you know you're going right to the next record previously. But maybe I did work on somebody this afternoon. Here it is, around 3 o'clock. I can see at 3:53, I worked on Juliet, or I worked on Melissa's record. So I can just double click and go back to Melissa's record. Now that's nice because it takes us to the contact that we were looking at. But we also may have wanted to walk onto a group, an opportunity, or so forth. It remembers that. So here I have picture frame limited. I double click and it's going to take me directly to that record. So the previous system that we have is a little bit more enhanced. You can walk onto previous records. Favorites are just that. It's a bookmarking mechanism. If I were to right click on any one of these that I walked onto previously, I can add it to my favorites. And if I go to my favorites, whoop, I didn't add one. If I right click here, add to favorites, and let me say, oh, that's a opportunity I'm always working on, I'll add that to favorites. Melissa is somebody I call at least once a day, so let me add that to my favorites. Let me go to a different record here. Juliet, I talked to this afternoon, but I'm going to add her to my favorites because I talk to her every day. So now when you come back in the next day, instead of hunting down through this list, we can just go to our favorites. So I have my 3 favorites, 2 favorite people to call. I can walk onto Melissa's record, start a phone call, and I can walk onto my opportunity and be talking about that. So that's bookmarking and or favorites. The last one is radius mapping. So let's go back to a record, Juliet's record. If I was to go to radius here, let me just drag this up a little bit. It's showing me everybody geographically that lives, works, or is physically around Juliet's record in New York City. So it's telling me I found 13 contacts in a 10-mile radius of this postal code, 10008. If I was to extend this 13 miles out more, you can see I found 46 records, and we can find those geographically by how many miles out. So Dylan and Theo are 25 miles out. So I may be going to Juliet's physical building, and I say, well, let me send an email to everybody in her neighborhood to say I'm in the neighborhood. Do you want to do a meeting? So let me take this back to these 15 found. 21 miles is the radius I want to encompass, and it's showing me everybody here. Well, all I need to do is click on this lookup button, and it lists those records for me. 15 found in the radius plus Juliet's original record gives us 16 contacts. So right from here, I can send out an email to them saying, I'll be in your neighborhood. Are you interested in me stopping by? Very nice, creative radius mapping lookup mechanism. Okay, that ends the little webinar here on what's new or what is Impact version 5 all about. For more detailed ones on different modules in the product and different features of the product, continue looking at our video page for other webinars. Okay, thank you very much.